Warning. It is the opinion of the 4th Street Productions, LLC, and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language.
When we first moved there with 3 teenagers, and a lot of people thought we were crazy for taking our kids out of school, moving to a country in Central Asia. And what we discovered was because of the culture there, we felt more comfortable being there with our teenagers than back here in the U.S. for a lot of reasons.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, I've said this before. The country I went to that was a former communist country is, and it's half Islam. It's Ottoman Empire, like Turkish Islamic. Or Turkish Muslim, and then half Greek Orthodox. And I'll tell you this right now, you could be Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And there is no one night stands happening in Albania. I'll tell you that right now. Like that kind of shit. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Jdubs, Justin Richardson, the amazing Jamie Iglesias, and our guest today is the one and only Brian Yeager. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can us on Instagram, Working Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can please email us at workperspective@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe so we keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Jdub, how we doing? Buffet.
Go hang a salami backwards is I'm a lasagna hog.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Learn something new every day.
Do with that what you will.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing great. I don't have any fun facts for you like that one, but
I mean, no one has that fun fact. Literally no one. All right. Well, speaking of fun facts, this is the Working Perspectives podcast. Let's get this thing going. Let's go.
It's all objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. Would you share it? Would you share it? Would you share it? Working Perspectives.
All right. On the show today, we have the one and only Brian Yeager. Brian Yeager is the owner and proprietor of Combat Strength Online. It's a strength and conditioning for grapplers. He does that at CrossFit 24/7 in Southampton. He's been a coach and physical trainer for around 24 years. He's been doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for 5 years. He did some training in Tajikistan. We're going to get into that a little bit later and a background on him. Super excited he's here. He's a brother of mine from the Henzo Gracie PA Academy. So just love getting these guys on the show. It's a great time every time they're here. But let's get right into it. Brian, super excited to have you on the show. Thanks for being on here. But before we get started, I would just like to ask, what movie do you think is better? The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2?
I have to go with the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not great. It's not great.
Guys. It is great. I mean,
it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean,
you're right.
The first one is better than the second, but the second is still a very good movie. But it is not better than the first.
Agree to disagree. All right. Very good. Then what about Cheetos, Brian? Are you crunchy or puffed?
Crunchy.
See, he's not a wimp.
When I eat them.
When I eat them, yeah. Which is rare. I've seen your body, and it's that of a Greek god. Michelangelo's David. Yep, very good. And then what about pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Oof. Oof. We haven't had a pancake in a little bit, you know?
The old flapjack.
I like to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, not these highfalutin waffle people. Just
Yeah.
a nice, simple
Fancy.
flapjack.
Yeah. I've been hearing people say the KISS method lately, the keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pancakes in a nutshell, right? You know what I mean? It's all in the name.
Bubbles
So
in a flip.
yeah, that's it. Very good. So let's keep moving. What about, are you theme park or are you amusement park or water park?
Water park. I'm a water guy.
Wow. All right. What
right there
about?
with you.
Yeah, I mean, you
What's
guys are
that?
weird. She's right there with you, buddy. She loves swimming in Band-Aids and urine just like the rest of us, huh?
I love it.
Yeah, how about it? It's a good Friday night for old Jamie there.
Speed slide.
Yeah. And then what about Chevy Chase or Bill Murray? Which one do you like better?
Chevy Chase. Can't stand Bill.
Wait,
What
you
just
said
happened
Chevy
here?
Chase?
What just happened right here?
Except for Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day is a good
What?
movie. I'm big on Scrooged. Chevy Chase is the man, and you and one other person are in a select company of.
Oh my
There you
Oh
go,
my
bro.
god.
Wait, he's not the first? He's not the first Chevy Chase?
Nah,
I think
somebody
there's
else
been
did
one
say
other.
Chevy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know who it was? You know who
No.
it was? I think it was Danielle Rothweiler that said
I knew
Chevy.
it was a lady,
Yeah.
I
But
couldn't
you're the
remember.
first man that said it. Congrats
got
to
it.
you. Good
I'll
job.
tell you why too. It's the National Lampoon's Family Christmas Vacation that I grew up on that.
It's a great movie. There's no
Splash.
denying.
Loved it so much.
You know what's crazy too? Like if you
And
look
Three
at
Amigos.
Three Amigos is great. But if
And here's
you
another
look
fun fact for you. There's
Yeah.
a movie with Chevy Chase and I think it's Dan Aykroyd where they're actually in Tajikistan.
Shut the hell up.
They're spies in Tajikistan.
Oh,
Spies
is
Like
that
Us?
the one Stripes? Is that Stripes? No, that's him and
No,
Harold
that's-
Ramis.
The Spies Like Us.
Oh,
They're
Spies Like Us?
Yep.
No
Yeah.
shit. I'll have to
Harold
watch that.
Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase.
Dude, you
Yep.
know what's crazy too? If you look at Caddyshack with Bill Murray and Chevy Chase, right? It's like they're both stealing the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I used to do? I used to love to do the piano scene that Chevy Chase, I was born to love you. I was born. You know what I mean? And he just kills it, man. They both kill it. Not gonna lie. At the top of their games, they're literally the two funniest guys alive at that point. But either way, you said Chevy Chase. You're the second person to ever do it, and the first man. What a weird world we're living in. All right.
We're also my kind of guy.
Yep. And then when it comes to eating chicken wings, this is important, Brian. Please pay attention. When it comes to eating chicken wings, are you drums or are you flats?
Drums.
Back on the team. All right.
When it mattered.
Got more meat there.
Yeah, damn right. You're damn right. More bang for the buck, more meat for the bite. Name of the game. All right. So let's keep it moving. So, like I said at the top of the show, you are the owner and proprietor of Combat Strength. It's online. It's a strength and conditioning for grapplers. You're operating out of CrossFit 267 in Southampton. You've been a physical trainer for 24 years. You've been doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for 5 years, and you lived in Tajikistan. We're going to get into that. For 7 years. So, all right, let's talk. Let's talk Tajik. Let's talk Tajikistan. All right.
Not for me, you know,
Right.
because I know where it is, but like for
Sure.
our listeners, for Jamie,
I would love to know where it is.
Just
where
an,
the is Tajikistan?
just an FYI, guys. I'm dating us, but on the episode that aired today, Jamie asked where the country of Peru was. Just so everybody knows, that's the geography we're dealing with. Sorry, James. Didn't mean to air your dirty laundry, but you legit said, where's Peru with a computer right in front of you.
Now I know. It's South America, right?
You are, man, you're good.
The
Uh-huh.
sneaky
There
Peru.
you
I'm
go.
learning. Now I got to
Learning.
figure out Tajikistan.
So,
Well, in all fairness to Jamie, one of my favorite travel writers used to say that war is God's way of teaching Americans geography. So since we've never invaded Peru, it's not Jamie's fault.
true.
Exactly.
Damn.
I know where Afghanistan is.
Damn, that is so true. War is God's way of teaching geography. Holy smokes.
That's
That
why
is-
there's a difference
Jamie, if
between
you know
Vietnam and Korea.
where Afghanistan is, you can find Tajikistan very easily because it's on the northern border of Afghanistan.
I
So-
figured it was around there.
So
Yeah.
let me, this is what I'm looking at, guys. All right. So Tajikistan is bordered by China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan.
And
Kyrgyzstan?
it's right across the jump from Kazakhstan. So
Mhm.
I know
What?
Kazakhstan from
Borat?
Borat. Yeah.
There you go.
We had on
They
a
will-
previous episode on YouTube. Now you'll find our guest told the story about how if you bring up Borat in Kazakhstan, they
Yeah.
will stone you.
They will
Oh,
murder.
really?
Not
I'm not surprised.
they don't find it funny. And
No.
they
Wait,
don't,
where is he from? Is he not from there? Really?
Who did we have
No,
on here?
well, the character Borat was
No,
from,
what's his name? what's
Sacha
his-
Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
No,
he's
he's
not
British.
Kazakhstan.
Oh, really?
No,
I
he's
always
from
thought he was
England.
from there.
No, he's
No,
an
he's
actor.
from London.
Yeah,
That's
he's
pretty
a-
offensive. I guess.
yeah, he totally showed over Kazakhstan. Who was the person that told us that about? Oh, I think it was Eric Tangradi, the pro hockey player.
Yes.
Yeah, because he played hockey in Russia, which I mean, check it. Episode available right now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Respect This Podcast. The Eric Tangradi episode, really great show. His stories about playing hockey in Russia were wild.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure.
go ahead, Justin.
Russians are crazy.
No, I was gonna start talking now. Let's talk about
Tajik,
Brian here. Yeah.
Tajikistan.
You ever get the crazy Tajikistan pill cocktail?
I'm not
Sounds-
familiar with that.
That's what Tangier got these crazy Russian
Oh,
hockey
Tangradi,
pills out
yeah.
there.
So they used to call it Russian gas. So in the KHL, which is the Continental Hockey League, I believe is what it's called in Russia, I believe. And they'll give you the stuff called Russian gas, which is like it's either you can do an inhalant or it's like a handful of pills and you just whack them down and it's like you're just, it's basically like meth and steroids, apparently. And you're just like the best you've ever been and the best hockey player you could ever be. But yeah, Tajikistan, I mean, I found this. So I've been to a former communist country that is now reformed. And it is, I would say it's not the most populous country in the world, but as far as like morally sound, it knocks the piss out of a lot of other countries. So Brian, if you could explain to us like what was kind of your experience in Tajikistan and what the hell took you there?
Yes, as far as our experience there, I would agree with you. Tajikistan was also a former Soviet republic, and which is why most people don't know about it, because until the Soviet Union fell apart, it didn't even exist as an independent country.
Yeah.
It is about 99% Islamic as far as the culture there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that tends to create a much more conservative culture, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
When we first moved there with 3 teenagers, and a lot of people thought we were crazy for taking our kids out of school, moving to a country, in Central Asia. And what we discovered was because of the culture there, we felt more comfortable being there with our teenagers than back here in the U.S. for a lot of reasons.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, I've said this before. The country I went to that was a former communist country it's half Islam. It's Ottoman Empire, like Turkish Islamic, or Turkish Muslim, and then half Greek Orthodox. And I'll tell you this right now: you could be goddamn Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And there is no one night stands happening in Albania. I'll tell you that right now. Like that kind of is just not in their culture, right? And it's partially because like there's a lot of gossip. You know what I mean? Like people will talk and you don't want to be known as like this person, but it's also because like they like value self-worth. You know what I mean? Like they install self-worth especially in women. You know what I mean? Like they might be sometimes subjected to, cooking, cleaning, like that type of thing, but they're also like known like, hey, you are worth this and you're not to be treated like that, So I don't know. That's been my experience. Brian, what would you say?
Yeah, I would agree that the woman's value and honor is everything. So any kind of behavior or activity that would bring any kind of question in the neighborhood or the community would be frowned upon. So that's why they're so strict about it.
Yeah. I agree. And
they have problems there, like any culture in any country, but the overall culture is way more conservative and more appreciative of women and their value.
What kind of house were you in?
So we moved around a bunch when we lived there, but the houses are kind of old Soviet houses, so concrete ranchers, basically.
All right.
You had the option to live in like a 1-floor kind of rancher or like the old Soviet block style apartment. And that was like a non-starter for us. We didn't want to live there.
Yeah.
So we rented homes the whole time we were there. We had a nice garden, nice yard. It's similar to most Middle Eastern countries where all the properties are surrounded by 10, 15-foot walls and gates. So you have 100% privacy.
Mm-hmm.
A very private culture.
How's the food?
Yeah. Go ahead.
How's the food?
Say again?
How is the food? Like like your standard food, like you're going to the grocery store, or what are we doing? How are we making lunch?
So it was a mix when we first moved there. The country was in there's a lot of development going on in the country when we first moved there. So we didn't have as many options when we first got there in 2015. But there was 1 or 2 supermarkets, and after that you went to like the open air bazaar like you would experience in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You bought your meat, your vegetables, your fruit. You bartered for it, so you had to negotiate the price. But by the time we left, there was 3 or 4 nice supermarkets we would go to. One was there, it was owned by a French company. We had more options by the time we left.
Okay.
Oh, just because like the country had reformed itself and like started building itself back up by the time you had left?
Yeah, it was in the process of reforming itself as we got there. There's more and more money coming in. China was investing heavily in Tajikistan. So money was pouring in from China. And of course, because China was there, the U.S. was also competing for influence. So there was a lot of European, American, and Chinese money coming into the country.
Oh, nice.
When you're sorry, man.
Go.
When you barter at the market, you're still using cash, or are you like actually trading like rocking chairs, or what do you?
No, I guess I meant bargaining. Bargaining in the sense
bargaining. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so
I thought you were like trading outside of money. I was like, all right, like what do you got? Cows or?
Right. No, I meant bargaining. You're negotiating the price. So, and because we're a foreigner coming into the market, they're already starting their price higher than they normally would for a local. So it's a game. It's a game. You have to learn to embrace it and have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. Every week you're like, all right, we're getting some lamb under 40.
There you go. And it's funny too, because like the guy gives you a high price and then you give him your response and he acts like you just killed his firstborn. Like it's funny, and they're just playing a game with you.
Yeah. It's dude, the whole like bargaining and all that is so part of the culture. When I was in Albania, they had the way they set up like a block, right? And this was in a city. Were you in a city or like a town or a village or what?
Yeah, we're in the capital city.
Okay, so you're in the most populated city, same as I was. And the way they had it set up was where you would have like an apartment building, and there'd be 4 apartment buildings, like one on each side of so like if it's a block, right, it's a square. And then one, the north side is apartment, west, east, south, apartment building. And then behind it was the parking lot. But also in the parking lot was a cafe and then a grocery store, right? So you had your neighborhood cafe and a grocery store. So if someone was coming over to your house, right, or your apartment or whatever, you'd say, all right, just meet me at the cafe. I'll be down in a minute. You know what I mean? And you would run down, get your stuff, like meet them there. Or if you had to get food on the way back, like it was all part of the, like you went to the grocery store more, and it was more of like an experience, like you saw the same people there all the time, and like the people kind of knew you. And there's some people that had like a credit at the store, is that, I don't think there's any credit happening, but was it becoming like, did you become familiar with the people at the markets because you would see them all the time?
Oh yeah, for sure. Every neighborhood had its own market. So very similar to what you described. It becomes very relational. Yeah. When you go to the market, you'll see sellers selling. There's like 5 sellers in a row selling the same thing, and you're wondering how do they ever make any money? But each guy sells the people that he has relationships with.
Yeah.
So everything there, whether it's shopping for food or trying to get somewhere with transportation, it's relational. You know the cab drivers, how to get around.
Yeah. And
it's one of the best parts of the culture.
Yeah. I would see it too, is that when like you're with somebody that's like your person, and you're like, I didn't speak the language that well, and I'm assuming you didn't at first either. And when you would talk to someone and they would notice, like, like they would be kind of messing with you on the price or something like that, they would speak up and say like, hey, don't them over, they're with me, like they get it, like they're here, like don't screw them on the price.
Vouch for you.
Exactly. Like if you had someone in the cult, like I remember we went to the oldest bazaar in the world. It's in the city called Kruja in Albania. And we went to this bazaar, and I was looking at this like Albanian soccer jersey to buy. And the dude selling it to me was saying this much. And I had a tour guide with us, and he was like, hey, these guys are with me on the tour. Like, don't jack up the price. And he made the guy go get the receipt that he paid for it for, to show me like what the markup was, So it's just like those kind of things. Is that kind of stuff happening too while you're there?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we would get taken advantage of a lot when we first moved there. Yeah. But we would go with local friends that would help us out. It was fun going back to the bazaar 6 months and a year later once we learned the language, and kind of getting some payback.
Yeah, good.
It's like having a superpower. They don't know that you now know what they're saying, and you can sit there and play dumb.
Bro, honestly,
that's the best right there. It is a superpower.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Everyone talks about it like in the nail salon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you go to
I
like
hate that in the
when
nail
you go,
salon.
yeah, when you go to an all Asian nail salon.
Oh my god,
That's
it's
funny.
the worst.
Funny what you mentioned about being a superpower, because I've always told my wife if I had a superpower, it would be able to walk to like an international airport and understand what everybody's saying in every language simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
Part of me wants to learn Albanian just so and not tell my because I know they talk about me. I know
that's
they
the way
do.
to do it.
They said they don't, but I know that I've heard them say Mateo and stupid, like or
what's
idiot.
Harry in
It's
Albanian?
idiot. They say idiot is idiot. You know, yeah, and I know they've said it about me.
Wait, how long have
idiot.
you guys been married?
We've been married for 4 years or 5 years. It'll be 5 years in July. It'll be 5
And
years.
you haven't picked up any of the language from her?
Yeah,
knows idiot.
I have, but not a ton.
He knows make the bed, put your dishes away.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I do know.
Important things, the important things.
Yeah. I know a few things. I mean, hey, get off my back, all right, Jamie?
Hey, I don't even know where Albania is, so
I'm
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the
surprised.
a lot of the Tajik fighters that I worked with in Tajikistan, a bunch of them have now emigrated to the U.S. Some are in Philly, some are in New York. They've been here for a couple of years and they don't barely speak a lick of English. They don't need to.
Yeah,
they're in a Tajik enclave in Philly or New York, and they can get around.
Yeah, it's the same. I'll tell you. There's one thing. Speaking of the food, when I was living in the Northeast, especially in like Northeast Philly, dude, that place, like if you go to the far Northeast, it's like in Little Moscow up there, bro. It is all like
oh,
that.
Yeah.
It's all like that area. There's this one place. It was a Uzbekistan restaurant, and I loved it. It was so good. They had the best food. I loved going there.
I went to a rave at a Russian spa up there.
Oh,
so
shit.
much fun.
I bet it was.
In Ben Salem?
Yeah.
Well, like Feasterville?
Southampton Spa.
Southampton
Yeah,
Spa?
yeah.
And they have food in there, right?
They
like
did
good food. I don't know.
I wasn't there when they were open. It was like at night. These people like threw like a party rave thing there.
Wait. It was called the Southampton Spa?
I think we're talking about the same place. Yeah.
Yeah.
My massage therapist recommended that I never go there.
Yeah, it didn't seem like somewhere you would want to go, like for real. Like I just went to party.
Yeah.
But
my
like
therapist is from Ukraine, and I was asking her about a good place to go for like a sauna, and I said the only one I know nearby is the Southampton Spa. She goes, "No, don't go there. I think they just shoot Russian pornos there."
Oh my god, that's how they got a rave in there. I knew
there
it.
you go.
I knew there was something
Jamie
weird
doesn't
going
know, but she was an extra in a porno.
Hey,
wouldn't
send
be
me
the
a
first
check
time.
and I'll be fine.
Yeah. But you said okay. So we'll talk about more. You got married at like what some people would consider now as a young age, but hey, when you know, you know. But you said you had teenagers when you went to Tajikistan, like teenage kids. Was there any fear for the kids while you were there?
No, not at all. Because it's part of the former like Soviet Union, Russia is heavily involved there, so security there is fine. There was never an issue with that at all. Yeah, the healthcare there is terrible, but as far as like security, it's not a problem at all.
Really?
Russia is so concerned. Russia didn't want any spillover from Afghanistan coming into Tajikistan. So when we were there, there's about 15,000 Russian troops on the southern border of Tajikistan. They had their own base.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
Damn.
Putin would come to visit like twice a year.
Yeah, because it's not unreasonable to be like, it's a stand. So you're like, I don't know, is it a dangerous place? You know?
That's a lot of people ask this too, because they're associated with Afghanistan.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was gonna ask, like, were your daughters in burqas?
No, but they did have to dress conservatively out of respect for the culture.
Dresses,
dude, as a dad, you must have been damn thrilled. Right? Like I would like put more clothes on him. Hell yeah. You kidding me?
He's not complaining.
Dude, have you been to like a gym lately? Bro, I can't even like it is like uncomfortable to go to an LA Fitness now. Because I walk around, I'm like, I'm getting married. Like, put some damn clothes on.
Yeah, harlot.
This is ridiculous.
It is crazy. And the beaches in the summer, they're all wearing thongs now.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I was at a pool party and the father and daughter were there, and the daughter was in a thong. And I was like, put pants on. What are you doing? Don't show your old man your butt cheeks. And same thing, like one of my cousins, same thing, in a thong. And I was like, I don't want to see your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Put them away.
If my daughter tries that shit, I'm dragging her by her hair back in the house.
I mean,
No
but it is
way.
the conservativeness in us. At the end of the day, like it's her. Like I've just now, which has taken a long time, being able to show my knees. I've been getting like the short shorts and stuff now. But like growing up in middle school, like I never showed knees.
But dude, that was the fashion though. You had to have the long shorts. You had to drag a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you wanted to show your boxers.
I'm starting to show some thigh, and I feel a little.
Well, you have great legs. You got great legs. You know?
And so it is. You know, I can't judge the women for wanting to show their butt, but like it also. You know, I don't know if it is the old man in me or the
You date an Italian, bro. I think it's the survival instinct in you that if she catches you staring at another woman, he aches.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, how about it? But so your kids are there and like you felt completely safe and they adapted to the culture well. And I'll say this, and Albania's got the same rap, being that it was a former communist country in American entertainment. Really, they're like any kind of country is automatically painted as a villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Albania is always a villain in movies, and any kind of Tajik or Uzbek or Skadik or whatever, Tistan is always painted as a villain. You know what I mean? But when you go over there, these cultures are absolutely incredible. And the number one thing about like they want like is I feel like they want to be known for respect and hospitality a lot. Like known as like so respectful, so hospitable, like they're kind of falling over themselves to get you like food and drinks when you go over. You know, like is that kind of what was going on when you were there?
Yeah, hospitality is huge. We didn't see it as much in the city because the people kind of became more kind of westernized, but when we would go out into the villages or we go hiking up in the mountains, we'd stop somewhere. You know, the people are offering you their last like morsel of meat to feed you. They'll fall over themselves to make sure that you eat well.
Damn.
Yeah, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, all those countries, they pride themselves in their hospitality.
Oh, big time. Did you get to go to any weddings while you were there?
I went to 4 or 5, yeah.
A time, right?
Wait,
a blowout. A
Is that
blowout.
like a big thing? Is the wedding?
Oh.
The weddings in Tajikistan are about 3 days long.
Dude.
Oh, really?
Same with Albania. Dude.
Indian weddings are like that.
Dude,
it is. Like the first day is for like the bride's family, then the second day is for the groom's family, and the third day is for all the friends and everybody.
When you say like it's like it's 3 separate weddings almost, like with vows and so just the bride, just the groom, like family, and then everyone.
Dude, and there's stuff like during the day. Did they do the thing like when my brother-in-law got married in Albania? And they did a thing. So they did the bride's night, right? Is where the bride's family will host. Dude, there was 400 people at the bride's night, right? 400 people. That is a massive wedding, right? And dude, it's not like they're putting out pizza either. It was an 8-course dinner, right?
Yep, and then keeps coming.
And the food just keeps coming, and there's nonstop dancing and entertainment, and people are dressed like they're going to the prom. It is so dressed up, right? And like everyone is to the nines, out of this world, dressed up. And like I remember it was like 3 a.m., right? And I saw like a table of like older ladies in their 80s that said like, oh, it's 3 a.m. All right, we got a couple hours left till we can get out of here. I was like, what? And like people are whacking back drinks. And then the next morning, my brother-in-law got like, they had like the nicest car, and he went to where the bride was staying and picked her up in the car to take her back to his house. And when he went to pick her up, there's a band and dancing, and the whole family's like throwing money and flower petals and water on her as she's leaving the house. Then she gets to his house, and then there's another band and dancing, and they're throwing money and flower petals and like pouring like raki over to the doorway and stuff as they go in. Dude, it is. And then that night, they went to the #1 hotel in the country and threw a fucking rager, like a killer rager, bro. And then the next night it was Party City. Like, dude, Brian, similar, right?
Well, there's some differences with Tajikistan because it's the conservative Muslim culture, but also it's one of the poorest countries in Central Asia.
Yeah.
So the government actually had to put rules on how many people you could invite and how long the parties could go on, because people will go into like debt for decades in order to throw the wedding for their daughters.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like throwing away the future of your family's finances for a wedding.
Yeah.
So they made strict laws on how many people could come and how many restaurants you could go to, all that stuff.
Dude,
what's the max people?
Culture though.
Probably like 300, right?
What's the max?
I think it was 200 there.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's still a lot.
Oh, that's a ton.
So many.
Yeah.
And just noisy and loud, like you said, like the dancing and the horns. And the coolest thing that I saw was when the groom would go to the bride's house to pick her up. There was always like a play that would kind of come out where the brothers would stand in his way and block the entrance.
Yeah.
And he would have to quote unquote negotiate with them to take their sister. So there was like this back and forth, and he would take her from the house.
But then like it was the oldest male was like his representative. So like if the grandfather was still alive, it would have been him, but it was his uncle, who was the oldest male of his father's side, was the one that was by him while it was like his negotiating partner. Right? Was that there, or was it just the groom that had to negotiate?
It was just the groom.
Yeah.
What's he offering? Money or arm wrestling?
Think about this back in the day, right?
Pass rush?
Really, these things come from it's like the village culture, right? Because it was a family from one village, and they would go to get the bride at the other village. And really, what the other village was doing is they're showing out. They want to show off their dancing, their hospitality, their food, their drink, like all their clothes. Like they wanted to show like, we are the best village. We have all these nice things. Look at us. Right. But then the village that she's going to, they want to freaking show out, and they're going to throw a rager and have all the stuff. You know what I mean? So it's really a lot like that from the villages. And is dancing big in Tajikistan? Like as a culture, is dancing big?
Yeah, it's big there, but it's interesting because most of the time when we go to weddings, it was mainly guys that we would see dancing.
Dude, what?
And the guys would dance with each other. That was a different cultural experience for us.
Yeah.
And you're right though, because the cultures are based on honor. Yes. It's all about showing the honor of your family, showing the honor of your village, and projecting that.
Yeah, dude. But some of the dances though, out of this world, right? Mm-hmm. Like the athleticism is unreal. I remember my father-in-law was in a like Albanian folk dancing group. It was like the number one Albanian folk dancing group in Albania. He was on, imagine this. During the communist regime, they had a TV that played one channel. The channel was on from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. And it was one channel throughout the whole country, right? So if you turned on the TV, you got to see one thing. It was ever was on this channel, and he was on that channel like 3 times a year dancing. So he was kind of pretty well known. You know what I mean?
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So, but when I was at my brother-in-law's wedding, him and his old dancing buddies were still there, but they're in their 60s, you know, and they're doing like one-handed handsprings. And like, I remember one guy would hold the other guy's hand and he would do like just flips in a circle, and he's like 65 years old. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Even the low kick thing that is not easy.
Bro, you will break your neck trying that, Justin. Trust me.
That's why they still move like that, is because they don't stop doing it, you know?
I could pull it off in the past. I haven't tried it in a long time.
But nice.
I was nice with it.
Oh, I bet. So, but I do want to talk about this. I know we got crazy into the cultures, but when you're over there, and this is something I love, and you told me this, is wrestling is Tajikistan's national sport, right?
Yeah, everybody grows up doing it.
Dude, well, that's the thing. In that area, right? Pakistan, Uzbekistan, right? Tajikistan, like even Afghanistan, wrestling is like, they are crazy about it. Like selling out like 70,000 seat stadiums to watch a wrestling match, right?
Yeah. Every March they have their Navruz, which is the Persian New Year. Yeah. And they have a huge wrestling championship in the central stadium of the city. And the president's there, and the winner of the overall championship gets like a brand new car.
Oof. Man,
are there rules the same? And like, is it pretty much like a wrestling tournament there compared to a wrestling tournament here in the US? Like, pretty much similar.
So it
depends. Like, I know Tajikistan has 3 or 4 different styles of wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like some of them you'd recognize, like, you know, it's like Greco freestyle, but like they have a folk style wrestling there that they do for the Navruz celebration.
Yeah. There's even that have, dude, there's some wrestling tournaments in this part of the world that are like thousands of years old, right? Yep. So like there's somewhere like you have to wear special pants, you have to wear like put on an oil or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they make it like really difficult.
You do it like greased, I guess.
Dude, there's some that do it, and it has to be in the grass and like this arena. Yeah,
Okay.
it's and like the matches last until someone gives up. It's nuts. Like some of the wrestling rules is crazy, but
Yeah, no 5-minute rounds.
Oh, bro, dude, they go nuts, man. But nice. So yeah, there's like so in America, there's two main types. There's American folk style, which is what you'll see in college and national champion in high school and things like that. But then Olympic wrestling is called freestyle. There's two types. There's freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman. So freestyle is where you can attack the upper body and the lower body. And then Greco-Roman is just upper body throws. There's no leg attacks allowed.
So what's WWE?
WWE is a little different, Jamie, and I'm glad.
What style is that?
That WWE is entertainment.
WWE is
Federation.
Sports entertainment. All righty, sports entertainment. But did you get to go to do any wrestling training or go to any wrestling matches, Brian?
I went to the Navarrese wrestling matches 1 year. The only training I did was I had some athletes that I worked with, some friends that were Sambo athletes. I did some Sambo training with them.
That was brought by the Russians, I assume, then? The Russian Sambo?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah. That
Sambo's a style, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Sambo.
Kind of tell you, wrestling, grappling itself has so many different types. Like it is legit the oldest sport in existence, right? Like
it's dudes hanging out,
dude, exactly,
wrestling each other.
Think about it, man. Think about when we were caveman, just going at it, right? Like
wait, so jiu-jitsu is wrestling?
Jiu-jitsu is a form of grappling, right? Yeah. Which can be wrestling, grappling can be kind of considered the same thing. And jiu-jitsu is a form of submission grappling where it's, you're wrestling on the ground and fighting for position and like that, all kind of things. And then you're also looking for submissions and things like that. Yeah. So in a way, like wrestling and grappling are somewhat the same thing when you look at it, right? But yeah, jiu-jitsu jiu-jitsu and wrestling have a lot of similarities, Jamie. Yeah, big time.
Oh, I'm learning so much.
Yeah, you are. You'd probably be really good
at
actually
jiu-jitsu. There's a new documentary on Amazon called Catch as Catch Can.
Oh, love it.
It's about catch wrestling, but it really traces the history of wrestling all the way back. It talks about like pancration in Greece and the different styles that came out of Asia. It addresses the roots of judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and sambo, all of that.
Dude, hell yeah. Really I'm going to watch that then. Love it.
I had no idea. It was so historical.
It's the oldest sport in existence, James.
They used to do it
nude.
Yeah. In the original Olympics, they would do it nude. Yeah.
Nude and oiled.
Yeah. And in sand. They would do it in sand.
It's going to be slippery. You got to get it.
Oil and sand? That doesn't seem like it would be.
And there'd be no time limit either. So it was like until someone
you would do it to the death.
So guys would be exhausted. While their schwanzes are just flapping in the wind. So, but yeah. So, nice. All right. Justin, you got time for a couple questions? Because I don't want to go too long because I want to get some more into his stuff.
I got some good ones.
All right. So, right now we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment. It's Jdubs Questions, asking some questions. Jdubs Questions, a new favorite segment. Jdubs question segment. Brian, Justin here is going to ask you some questions, and you can give some answers, or you don't have to if you don't want it. And you can tell them to shove off. Either way, Justin, take it away.
You have to pick one, either the date or the way of your death, and you get told it to you. Not the year though, but like the date. Like it'd be like March 15th.
Oh, they don't give you the year?
No. Or the way, which is like fire truck or like heart attack. But you have to know. You can't decline.
The way that I die.
The way? Yeah. Right. What if the way is poison?
Ugh. I mean, it still could be by accident.
What if it's something like pretty bad where it's like, you shit yourself to death, buddy. Tough way to go out, you know? Like
you get raped to death. Sorry, that's not appropriate.
Jesus Christ.
This is getting real dark.
Yeah,
escalate very quickly.
Right, let's bring it down. If you had to start a new hate group, which would you pick?
New hate group?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you the people I hate. I hate people that talk about politics when no one wants to talk about it and all they want to do is argue about it and be and hate those people.
I'd say hate group for Taylor Swift.
Hate group for Taylor Swift.
You're
not down with the Swifties?
You just don't want to root for the anti-hero anymore. You're fed up with it.
That's what it is.
Taylor Swift.
She does kind of suck. She does kind of suck.
Oh damn! You already got Jamie. You got a member.
Yeah, I'm not a big Taylor, but there was so many people at her show.
Dude, they were like outside the show.
I don't know if it's a real number, but I heard it was 20,000.
There was a lot of people outside in the stadium just like listening from outside because the tickets were so expensive.
Yeah, I heard there's 20,000 people, and then like how many thousand inside?
Wait, what happened at the Taylor Swift concert in Philly? I hate that we're going off topic, but I need to know this.
The Taylor Swift concert in Philly was sold out 3 nights in a row, but also they were showing like footage on the news and stuff. There was a lot of people just in the parking lot during the show listening. So they paid for parking to just be in the parking lot and listen to the show from outside. Because I think one night you can hear it, right?
I think that's pretty smart considering how much the tickets were.
Also, think about it like this. From K-Lot, you can see the Jumbotron inside the stadium, right? So say if you went to K-Lot, stood there, you can see it. And if it's at the link, you can hear it because it's outside. But dude, that means she sold out that's like almost 90,000 people.
Yeah, and there apparently it was 20,000 outside.
What?
But that's what I heard. I don't know if that was like a made-up number. It sounds like a lot, but
FYI, WrestleMania is at the link this year. FYI.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did they do it outside?
Hell yeah, baby!
All
they
right,
usually do it at a warm weather place, but yep, let's go.
If you had to play death in a game for your soul, what game would you pick?
If I had to what?
You have to play a game for your soul, like a high stakes game. What game would you choose? Like you pick like Connect 4.
Have you ever seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
I have not.
No. Well, there's a scene in that where they play death, right? Or the Grim Reaper. They play death in a board game, a Twister or whatever. And
they play Twister, they play Connect 4, they play Battleship.
Yeah, and whoever wins. Yeah. You do chess?
Yeah.
You're good at chess?
Confident?
You're a good chess guy?
I'm good enough. I'd at least involve strategy, at least, and less risk and luck.
Yeah.
You control your own fate. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Dude, honestly, there's sometimes I get a real hankering to get into chess, and then I just don't have the time. But I wish I did. I love chess is a great, fascinating game. And it's like so impossible.
There's a fun one I was playing, it's online, where it's you get the pieces, you get irregular pieces, so you'll get like more than one queen, and you play a supercomputer that always stays the same, and you have better pieces, and then as you win, it brings you down to almost like at best you would get an even board and then play, but like in the stages before you'll get like 5 knights, 3 rooks, and then it's fun. All right, I got do you want a gross question or a nice question?
Nice. Yes, kids.
I'll take a nice question.
Oh, if you could have an animal as a companion, and like in the sense that he would be domesticated and you could communicate with him to a level of control, what animal would you pick?
I have to go with a wolf.
Just be like a giant dog.
Dude, there's some wolves that weigh 250 pounds. That's more than you weigh, Justin. Could you imagine fighting an animal that weighs more than you? Bro, no thank you.
Jamie, what would you pick?
For like a spirit animal?
No, like you get like an animal that would be like you could domesticate any animal, like
and you can
control. Oh my god, all of them.
Like you could have a tiger, but it wouldn't eat your neighbor. You know what I mean?
I would have one of every.
No, you only get one.
Yeah.
All right, a monkey.
Shitty answer, Jamie.
Nice.
I love animals.
Dude, honestly, my first thought was a silverback gorilla.
Yeah, any kind of monkey.
Dude, imagine if you had a silverback gorilla that was just like your dude. One, it has the dexterity of a human.
Right. It could get you a sandwich. It could grab you a beer.
Right. But then also it's like I could, like talk about the ultimate bodyguard. Like if I know they have like trained dogs, German shepherds and stuff to be bodyguards, but if they could get a trained silverback gorilla, holy shit.
I could go anywhere I wanted.
You could you could rob any bank ever.
And there's the giant wolf just sitting on the front porch, and you just like, okay, I will keep going. The silverback gorilla, you're just like, what?
Yeah, talking about nuts. All right, that was another rousing Jdubs question. What? Oh, go ahead.
Brian, do you have any questions for me?
I do not. Sorry.
Okay,
no,
now you
good.
can ask.
Don't have it yet. So that was another rousing Jdubs questions. James, do you want to throw a question in or no?
I do have a question.
Go.
What made you decide to go to Tajikistan?
Very good, Jamie. Very
Thank
good.
you. I almost didn't get it, but I got it.
You got it.
That's usually the first question people ask us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my wife and I we went in 2013 for a vacation. We had some friends that worked there as they did humanitarian aid work. So they've been there for a few years, and it's just like this beautiful gem of a country. For anybody who likes outdoor activity, like hiking, backpacking, it's like a hidden gem in Asia. Nobody knows about it.
Nice.
They invited us to come. We spent a week in Tajikistan and a week in Kyrgyzstan. And while I was there, I'd already been coaching, 15, 16 years. And I just saw like a real need with athletes there for good coaching and someone who knew what they were doing that could help them. And so I kind of got an idea in my head, kind of a bug to maybe go back and check out those opportunities. So I went back the next year. I spent another 2 weeks there, just in Tajikistan. And I had a local friend. He took me around and introduced me to all the sporting federations and all the leaders of the sports clubs there. And right before I came back, I met a local guy who was running a CrossFit gym there and wanted to expand and open a new one, but he needed some expertise and some outside help. So he agreed to sponsor me for my visa, and we moved back there the next year.
Damn.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Wow.
So, people thought we were crazy, but
Yeah.
we just did it.
Dude, I bet too, like the cost of living there is probably a lot less than it would be here. But then also it's like the amenities you have is a little less. But I bet your
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, your kids probably read a lot more. They weren't stuck in front of the TV 7 hours a day. They're not video game wasting their time. Like they're probably outside. They're probably getting a lot of activity in and having fun and learning so much, right?
Yeah, and they learn multiple languages too.
They're gonna be like, what? They'll be well cultured.
Dude, go ahead, Brian.
I was saying, like, my oldest daughter, she learned Farsi, which is like the ethnic language there.
Oh shit.
And then my son learned Farsi and Russian. And then my youngest teenager at the time learned Russian, Farsi, and Korean.
Oh shit.
Nice.
So yeah, they didn't come back any poorer than we left, for sure.
Hell no, baby.
And then,
they came back ready to be international spies. God damn.
It's the one thing that like it's very hard to offer your kids. Like in America, I imagine, with my children, it's very difficult. That like lifestyle of like we got up and we left the house and you came back like when it was dark.
Right.
Like
yeah.
You could sit inside all day, but there's not the internet and video games. There's things to do and like, you learn so much.
Bro. Yeah. Plus
it's something you can't like now you have to like take from your children to offer them that lifestyle where you're like, hey, go outside and go throw rocks at a tree for 2 hours. She's like, what are you talking about?
Dude,
I'm like, trust me, you'll learn a lot from throwing a rock at a tree.
Yeah, dude, you could not keep me in the house as a kid. Absolutely not.
I feel like we never had a choice.
Yeah. My mom used to say, if you're in the house, I'm going to put you to work, which means like she's going to make you clean. So I was like, I'm the out of this place. See you later. But okay, nice. Yeah, I'll tell you, my daughter speaks a lot more Albanian than I do already, and she's 3. Go figure. But
start catching up.
Dude, it's invaluable for children to speak multiple language. Invaluable. I cannot sing its praises enough to be bilingual.
And it's easiest when you're young.
Correct. Very correct.
Yeah,
Justin, so astute of you, Justin. So astute.
I'm still trying to master English, but
yeah.
Once I get that down, I'm gonna start adding some other ones.
You speak North Walian, which is good.
I'm very well read and
very well versed in North Walian. Yes.
And you really get to understand the culture too when you learn the language. Like I had to learn how to coach in Farsi.
Yeah.
In order
that makes sense.
So how do you convey coaching principles and coaching instructions in a way that they understand it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just saying a literal phrase that I want to say, but how would they say it in a way that's understandable?
And
it was humbling and educational as a coach.
Yeah, like what pushes them and what offends them. Like there's a line here, obviously in English, of like, you can say this to this student and you can say this to this student and to motivate them. And then especially doing it in another language. And then also knowing like their kind of like subtext so that you're not like offensive almost.
What was,
the lines.
You know how like over here we'll say like, come on, let's go, or something like that. Or, like, let's go, like something like get you hyped up, right? Like what would you say in was it Darcy?
Farsi, yeah.
Farsi.
Well, it's funny because Tajikistan was a mix of Russian and Farsi like culture, Persian culture. So there was a lot of Russian words mixed into the gym setting because Russian is still the language of sport there. I mean, you hear it in all the Russian movies is davai, which means like let's go, let's work.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
They would say the davai, which means let's go, rabotem, which means let's work.
Hell yeah.
So similar.
Nice.
The one phrase that I thought was funny that was if someone wasn't working hard enough, they'd tell them to put a skirt on.
Love it. Nice. It sucks.
They use Russian for that as well too. So all the motivational phrases and the insulting phrases they would use Russian for. Interestingly enough.
Dude, I'll tell you though, it sucks. Like I bet a coach would get in trouble now if they say go put a skirt on, which is such bullshit.
Can you say it? Say it in Russision. You know how to say it?
So the combination of Russian, which is yubka, which is the skirt, and pushed, which is to put on. So yubka pushed.
Oh shit! Almost sounds like you're saying you pussy. You can push it, man. You can push it, man.
Can you do the rest of the podcast in Russian?
That would be a challenge. I could do it mostly in Farsi.
Yeah, well, we couldn't, so let's not. All right, let's keep it moving then. I want to talk about this. So Brian here was born in Northeast Philadelphia in the Tacony area. You lived there till you were 19. You went to like was it a private like Christian school, right?
Yeah, it was the church that my family belonged to. They had their own school, North Philly.
Nice. And then you ended up getting married at the age of 20. And to date, you've been married for 25 years, almost 25 years. I've been with my wife for 9 years, almost. It'll be 9 years in July. And, she can't be around me for 25 minutes without hating me. So how's 25 years, man? It's incredible.
Well, simple and honest answer for me is Jesus.
Jesus. Amen.
He's
our Lord and Savior, baby.
He's the third person in our marriage. Without him, we wouldn't have done it.
Man, didn't know your wife was into that, but to each his own. Just kidding. But
he's a good buffer though. If you're gonna bounce something off somebody, like as a third, because that's the one thing where a lot of people get in trouble with their relationships. So like, hey, like I don't want you going to your friend and talking about the difficulties in our relationship. And you're like, hey, I'm not talking to Matt. I'm talking to Jesus.
Right. Right. If you had to share your wife with anyone, I'm sure Jesus is the guy you'd want to pick. Right.
From where I'm standing, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So why, did you just know as soon as you saw your wife, you're like, that's it. I'm 20. I'm in my sexual prime, but I saw her. I got her. I got to sign the contract. Let's go. Is that kind of what happened?
I mean, it was similar. I mean, we were dating for about 2 years before that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was within a few months. I kind of felt like I knew.
Nice, man. Dude, that's awesome, brother. Hey, man, when you know, pal. I'll tell you, I knew it was my wife. First time I saw her, knew right away. Bam. I was like, that's the one I've been dreaming about. Here we go. So that's great, dude. So you got married. So damn, 25 years. God bless you. So you got married
crazy.
At the age of 20.
You'd already have a pension.
What's that?
You'd already have a full pension.
Yeah. We should
knock it out early.
But dude, hey man, I'll tell you, it's kind of rare these days to get married at such a young age, but I'm kind of digging it. Because look, like what are you now? 45 around there? 40?
I'll be 45 this year, yeah.
So you're 45. What do you got? 3 kids?
4
kids. And how old are they?
Too. So they're 19, 21, 23, and 2.
Started all over.
One of these is different than the other. Yeah.
It's like playing a video game and you're like, all right, I think I'm gonna start a fresh game.
Basically,
we're done. You had them all over and you had them all at the house and you're like, nah, let's run it back.
Hey man, good for you. Well, the thing is, he started early, so he's able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you start later, there's no way that's happening. You know what I mean? Like if you waited to get married, there's no way that's and to have kids, there's no way that's happening. So that's honestly a blessing, really. So and the fact that you still have energy to do that, like I had my first kid when I was 30. You know what I mean? So, or when I was 35. I had my first kid when I was 35. By the time he was 35, he had 4 kids already. You know what I mean? So like I had my first kid at 35. So, you know, by the time she's 15, I'm going to be 50. And it's not going to be easy keeping up with her, you know? Like it does play a factor, right? Well, it's not going to be as easy, but I'm saying like that kind of stuff plays a factor, especially like when you do want to, I mean, I don't know, man. People, the one thing I know about, and I know we're getting off on a tangent, but with kids, the one thing that's always said is like it goes by so fast, and it's so true. And it's like today, like we were outside playing, and I think to myself, is this the type of moments that people talk about that go by so fast when she's out like riding her bike and running around and playing in the grass and all that stuff? Like that goes away before you know it. You know what I mean? And for you, you're kind of able to get a second chance at that with a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah, it's one of the huge blessings of it. Is we're more aware of those moments now, and you realize how to pick your battles. You're more emotionally mature, a little less energy than we were in our 20s, but
you're working smarter, not harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's also motivation to keep training jiu-jitsu too. So when she's dating, I'll be the old guy that can rip their heads off.
Did you put your kids into jiu-jitsu?
So when I started jiu-jitsu, my 3 older kids were already old enough where they were interested, but didn't really have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Now my son, he's 21. He wants to, but he's in the military right now, and he doesn't want to injure himself before he gets into the job that he wants to get into.
Yeah.
He's definitely interested.
Nice. Well, hey, man, as soon as he's ready,
my 2-year-old, she's already interested though.
Dude, I told my wife it's a non-starter. I don't care if I have to drag my daughter there. Is your 2-year-old a boy or a girl?
Girl.
See, dude, Justin, you're exactly right. Especially for women, I think it's a great equalizer, right? And Rich has a great saying. The owner of the gym, Henzer Gracie PA Academy, Rich Latta, has a great saying: "Is soccer never saved anybody's life." You know what I mean? Like, dude, we've had horror stories at the gym where dad's coming in saying, "Thank God and like she doesn't ever have to compete. I don't care if she ever has to compete, but it's a thing where I'd rather her have it and never need it than need it one time and not have it. You know, like it's the biggest fear.
Break arms and shoot straight.
That's it, brother. That's all you gotta do. Hey, man, you can put a motherfucker to sleep. That's all you gotta do. You know, it ain't that hard. But yeah, dude. So nice. So you got married at 20, and then when you got married, you did your honeymoon in Hawaii. This is kind of becoming we're noticing.
I want to hear this story.
Yeah, we're noticing this is a common thing for you. You go somewhere, you like it, and you decide to stay. So you did your honeymoon in Hawaii, right? And then you ended up staying there for a year and a half.
We stayed there for a year and a half. We probably would have stayed longer, but that's when we got pregnant with our first kid, and we decided at the last moment to move back to Philly, where our family and friends were. We actually flew back. We landed in Philly on New Year's Eve, and my daughter was born on the 6th. That's how pregnant my wife was.
Holy shit! She traveled that. Wow.
So, yeah, they rolled her off the plane.
So do you what was the original honeymoon? A week, 2 weeks?
Well,
did you have a return ticket that you canceled?
We planned to stay.
Okay, all right. So it's not like, all right, I thought maybe like you flew there and you had like a ticket back and you're like, we can cancel that because I make that joke every time we go anywhere. We like get there and we just live here. I don't feel like flying back home.
Yeah, no, we were young. We didn't care. We told people we were going to do it, and we just did it.
It's awesome.
Man, that's awesome.
Did you have a apartment lined up, or you just flew out there blind, or what did we do?
So my brother was stationed in Pearl Harbor in the Navy, so we crashed with him for a few months till we got on our feet.
Beautiful.
But we did do like a 2-week honeymoon, like, you know, in the resort and all that first. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. So, and then so you've been a personal trainer for 25 years or 24 years, right?
Yeah, and 98 when I started training. So yeah.
98. So 25. Yeah, 25 years. God bless you, man. So 25 years as a personal trainer. So how did you start your business? Like how was starting the business, and how did you build your clientele?
So when we moved back to Philly to have the baby, I didn't know where I was going to work, but I knew I wanted to work as a trainer. And this was just like, you know, providential. I was in a gym one day working out, and the girl at the front desk knew that I was looking to, you know, start a personal training business. So she called me up to the front desk one day. She's like, I got this guy on the phone. He's a personal trainer, and he wants to move overseas. He wants to sell his book to somebody. And so it turned out he was like this personal trainer to like high-end people, like in Malvern, Mainline, Gladwin. And so I met him. We hit it off right away, and basically he sold me his book, which I kept some of the clients. Some of them went away, and then I built it back up myself.
Bro,
so my first 10-12 years was just all the high-end clients on the main line, Rittenhouse Square.
Love, bro, dude, you couldn't ask for better, bro. You don't got to chase them for money, right? I mean, I don't know.
Never advertise once,
dude. Dude, word of mouth
referral.
Word of mouth, best advertising you can get. Word of mouth.
It was the kind of clientele too that you don't get into that clientele without like the reference.
Yeah,
you're pulling up to these houses, you don't get past the gate unless they know you.
Yeah,
there's no way to advertise to this group of people.
No.
So that was a huge blessing, and I was able to support my family doing that for 12, 13 years before we moved overseas.
Damn, that's incredible, dude. I remember do you know Greg Houck at the gym? Greg Houck? Either way,
We've met a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. He had his main clientele when he was training was like it was older females, right? You know, like not main, but he had a bunch of them. And I just remember being like, dude, they never miss a payment, and they're always here to train, right? And he's like, yeah, man, the checks don't bounce, brother. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like you're not training the next Mike Tyson, but that dude, you don't want that, right? Like I've been in it long enough that like one, you need to build a relationship with these people, and I'll tell you, I bet a lot of those people had a lot of knowledge to offer as far as maybe investment and money management and things like that.
And education.
Yeah, total education, and they liked you and things like that, and like you raised your level of professionalism by dealing with them. So, dude, yeah, people think like, oh, you want to do no, you don't want to do that shit. That shit's a fucking waste of time. You're giving away half your time to fucking Joe Schmoes thinking they're gonna be the next Rocky. Like that shit's for the birds, bro. So then, all right, you've been in it since 98. Man, one thing I will say, and I've said it before, is that there are so many different, like the fitness industry itself is very fashionable as far as like there's a new trend popping up with fitness all the time, right? Can you think of some, like you've been in it since 98, right? So when you first started in it, it was all creatine and pumping out chest and squats and all that, right?
Yeah, it's creatine and bodybuilding and all the Swiss balls and all that stuff. The so-called functional training.
Yeah, that shit's been going.
The Nord track. What was the joint with the ropes and the
slide? Yeah, the
Nord track. Then the elliptical. Then you had the ab wheel, the shake weight.
Dude, the rower puts all that to shame. Well, no, the climber. The climber's a son of a bitch.
What was the Chuck Norris?
I'll go with the air assault bike.
Duh, bro.
You remember that?
We call it Satan's tricycle.
Satan's tricycle. What was that, Justin?
The Chuck Norris one. I forget what his was called. That one was pretty good. My dad had that one.
I don't know that one.
But now they have the Peloton.
But now it's the Peloton. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the latest one.
Dude, that one is. I mean, I wish I could fucking sell it back. But whatever. Nice. So then what, like you, because of all these different trends and all these different fashions, for you as a personal trainer, you have to have like principles and basics that you always work with, right? So what is like your kind of fundamentals when working with a client?
So you kind of touched on it at the beginning of the show, but to keep it simple, stupid premise, like there's all these different trends and fashions change, but fundamentals never change.
Nope.
Yeah, human physiology has been around for millions of years, and that's not going to change. Mm-hmm. And so for me, like we talked before, like to me, strength is king. So if you build a foundation of strength, all the other requisite attributes come from that. So it starts with strength. Yeah. So whether it's a boxer, a wrestler, or a stay-at-home mom, they want to be as strong as possible for their size and their needs.
Yeah.
You're never going to regret being strong enough for who you are.
And it's also like I'm assuming like one of your main focuses, especially early on, is strength of the mind, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked about, the mind is primary. Yeah. And there's two ways to approach that. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You can use the mental aspects of training someone to make them stronger, but you can also use challenging training to expose the mind and to kind of peel that onion.
How so? Can you give us an example?
So there's different workouts that you can have people do where I call it a can't or won't workout. It's mainly conditioning workout, not as much as a strength workout, but every person will get to a point in that workout when they can keep going, but they choose not to.
Yes.
So you're testing the mind there more than the body.
Yeah.
Because the person who has a strong mind or one that's developing their mind will keep going past that point to whether they become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's when the mind grows. It's not that they can't keep going and they won't keep going.
Bro, dude.
And that's so applicable to jiu-jitsu too. I can't tell you how many times I've been crushed by a black belt.
Yeah.
And my mind wants to say, this is uncomfortable. I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm going to quit. But then you pull that back in, you breathe, you focus, you center your thoughts, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
Your body is capable of 20, 30 times more than most people realize it is.
Yeah.
I mean, most people never reach that point.
Yeah.
Because they don't let themselves.
Dude, I don't know how many times, like, I'll say, like, because we'll do everything by a time, right? Everything's done by rounds. You know what I mean? Like when I'm training boxing. And one of the things is like push-ups for a minute. And there's so many guys that stop. And I tell them, like, dude, you had 4 seconds left. You don't think you could have held out for 4 more seconds, right? I was like, when you think you're going to quit, count to 10 in your head and you're going to realize, oh, I'm almost there. It's not that bad, right? And then the more you do that, the more it goes away. That's where real growth comes from, is that fighting that urge to quit, you know? As soon as you're able to overcome that, sky is the limit. Limits.
And once you can train someone to that point, then the next step is working with someone where the time limit is unknown. Because then you're taking someone to a deeper level where they're just working for an undetermined amount of time.
Yep.
And they can't quit. The military uses it a lot in selection courses where they have to go on a run or if they do a certain amount of movements and they have no idea when the day is going to end.
Yeah.
And part of it is they're being judged the entire time on how they react to that mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so that I forget, somebody was talking about that same exact thing where they were doing running, like how fast they could run a mile when they knew how many miles they were running versus how fast they were running the mile when they had no idea how many miles they were going to run.
Damn.
Yep.
Love it.
Big difference.
Nice. So, okay, like we said, it's Combat Strength Online, right? Is your company. You have a Facebook page. Do you have an Instagram page, right?
It's primarily Instagram. Yeah, it's combat_strength.
All right, cool. And we'll have a link for that in the description of this episode. Highly suggest everybody checking out. If someone does want to get in touch with you about some personal training, how would they do that, Brian?
Instagram is the best way.
Yeah, just to message you on Instagram. Hit you in your DMs. Huh? Hit a little DM. Hit me in the DMs. Nice. All right, perfect. So we are coming towards the top of time. So Brian, man, I will say this. Me, Justin, Jamie are usually on the same page with this, but we would love to have you back on the show if you'd be willing to come back on, man.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Dude, we'd love to
have
a little
deeper into some of these topics.
Dude, I would love to talk some more about Tajikistan. Barely touched on that, and being married for 25 years at the age of 45. But no, man, before we get out of here, like we said, Combat Strength Online, combat_strength. We'll have a link in the description of this episode. I totally suggest everyone check it out. And if you're interested in some personal training, contact Brian. He's great at what he does. He's great, get you going, do a great job. But before we get out of here, Brian, is there anything you want to say to everyone listening before we take off?
I would speak, primarily to the jiu-jitsu people that are watching. I talk to my main population I work with is jiu-jitsu players over 40. Yeah. And so many people think that they don't have enough energy to do jiu-jitsu and take care of their strength and conditioning. But in my experience with both myself and the people I work with is you can't afford not to do something off the mats to keep you healthy enough to keep doing the thing that you love.
Yeah.
You got to make the time to do it.
Yeah. I agree, man. Dude, it's a lifestyle change is what it does. It legit changes your life. If you commit to this shit, it'll change your life and it'll change it for the better. You'll be the best person you've been, which is incredible. Nice. Very good. And then Jamie, before we get out of here, anything you'd like to say to the Iglesias faithful?
I have definitely learned a lot today.
Your geography is just
yeah. Well, you know what? I might not know a lot about geography, but I know what continent Israel is in.
Okay.
Do you know?
Isn't it in Africa?
I think it's in Asia. It's in Asia.
Is it in Asia?
No, Europe. No, it's not in Europe. It's in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. So one fact. That's my fun fact of the day.
Wait, isn't Israel in the Middle East?
It's on the border.
Well, the Middle East is a mix of Asia and Africa.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's right now. Oh, because Egypt's in Africa, Israel is in Middle East, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, great. Hey, great job, James.
Thank you. Fun fact of the day. Yes, we all learned something today.
Yeah, that's incredible. Very nice. Thank you, Justin. Anything you'd like to say to the Jdub maniacs before we get out of here?
I'm trying to build up my awareness and my fan base in Uzbekistan. I'm real big on that.
Tajikistan?
No, Uzbekistan.
Oh, you want to use Uzbekistan because you're already big in Mozambique.
Yep.
So
Uzbekistan's got a cool ring to it. I would go Uzbeka, just given the option. I just
the food's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I've never had the Uzbekistan cuisine.
Oh, you'd love it, dude. I'll take it. I'm actually craving it now. We'll get some Uzbekistan.
I just I'm a lasagna hog backwards is go hang a salami.
Man. Well,
interesting.
Yeah, how about it? Well, speaking of
wonderful having you here, Ryan. Had a great time.
Yeah. So speaking of hanging salamis, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Jdub, Justin Richardson, the amazing Jamie Iglesias, and our guest today is the one and only Brian Yeager. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. You can also on Instagram, Work Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like, subscribe so we keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See you.